What's up, everybody? I am Steve, and with me, as always, is D. And you are watching Conversations with Cabys. And if one more goddamn Mac problem happens, I'm gonna flip this motherfucker.
Dude, it's been trials and tribulations since you got that thing.
Trying to get a fucking 27-inch Retina mid 2015 Mac, iMac, to be our streaming rig. And god damn, it's hard to fucking work out the apps on this motherfucker. Like, why do they gotta make shit so fucking hard? Why?
It's in theory, it's a beautiful machine.
It is a beautiful machine. The picture's great. Picture quality is amazing. The connectivity is easy. Networking was a cinch. But apps, applications, simple shit you think it should do. Like podcasting should be a thing. Like the vidcasting should be a thing, right? They have Podcaster. That's just audio.
Right.
Vidcasting should be a thing. Streaming on a Mac should be a thing. I don't know why it's not. It does not make any fucking sense to me, man.
And like you were saying earlier, GarageBand is an amazing program. It is awesome. You use it, you've used it quite a bit. I've used it a little bit, and it's pretty badass. You would think that they could take that same theory and principle and apply it to this.
You know they got their audio on lock. Their internal audio applications are fucking money. Why the fuck is there not a good video one? Like video and audio combined. And I got ahead of myself. We're talking about tech today. This is the Ultimate Podcast, non-music podcast. What's up, everybody? I'm just so fucking frustrated with this goddamn thing, man. Oh, shit, it pisses me off sometimes. Like, fuck. And normally...
This is just what's going to happen. It's just what's going to happen. This is going to be a Tech Topic Tuesday that happens, every once in a while. And we go off on a tangent about tech.
Yeah, I mean, we both kind of... It's a hobby of both of ours, and we fucking do different shit. And obviously, I dabble in it professionally. I run an IT out of an office and shit, and fucking this bullshit. And it's just frustrating. I'm frustrated with it right now. I'm trying to use Wirecast, and I like Wirecast. It's good shit. It works for Mac and Windows. Interface is great. I'm just having some problems with it. It could be an update issue. It could be a couple things that have not worked out yet. So I have not exhausted all the issues, although I have been forum bouncing and FAQ bouncing and haven't really experienced too much of this. And there's not a lot of tutorials out there, really good tutorial videos. I kind of dived deep a little bit today in them and trying to figure out some shit and found out some cool stuff. But just really, like, here's common problems. Normally with a Mac, okay, here's what normally you experience with a Mac is like, okay, here's the common problems that people with a Windows mentality come from, like, and have with this Mac. Here's the solutions. There's nothing like that for Wirecast. And if there is, find me. Shoot it up in the comments, please, because I'd love to fucking get some help with this. Some calling out to all the fucking conversations peoples, and
we're trying to improve for you. That we're trying to make this whole shebang just smooth, easy.
And ultimately, this is what facilitates maybe an actual Twitch stream or something like that, where we go on and D and I play some video game, Borderlands 3, some video, like something. StarCraft, Divinity, Original Sin, like an RPG, Diablo 4 when that fucking comes out.
Oh,
that
dude,
looks
yeah.
fucking, oh my god, Diablo 4 looks money as shit.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah,
video
absolutely.
games are probably going to be in a tech talk as well, just to kind of slide on into the DM on that one. Video games are going to be probably in the topics, like, because it's part of tech as far as we're concerned.
And it would most likely be a multifaceted, multi-part kind of thing that we dive into video games of the past, things we grew up with.
Yeah, when we get some content, sure. When we can hammer out those for sure. Big releases, right?
Yeah, like, that'll be cool.
Like PS5, the new releases is what you was gonna say, right?
Well, not so much. I mean, we could work up to that, but like, a couple first episodes, maybe just talk about like some of the nostalgia games, some of the stuff we grew up on, some of the big titles of our day and age when we were, young, and what's come out within the last 5-10 years that has been pretty remarkable as well.
Yeah, I mean let's look for that one probably next week. Next week Tuesday maybe it'll be that episode. And we also, if you guys haven't seen episode 8, first episode of the question, that new series we're running about the Torrid meteor stream, and we just experienced some meteors in the Midwest, and it's a perfect segue into that. So if you guys are looking in it, saw some lights in the sky, and want to peep that podcast, go ahead and do so at your leisure. But yeah, we're talking more about Macs and Windows in this one. The frustrations we've had trying to get the streaming PC going on the other side. And D, you built a computer, right? New one recently? That one we were talking about last episode.
Yep. Just got done, finished with a brand new build. This is using all the latest tech that's available right now, as far as the AMD side of things. Just to give you the rundown of the parts list on it, it's an AMD 2700 processor, the Ryzen 7 series. It's the I believe that was the 3.2 or the 3.4 gigahertz model, and got 16 gigs of RAM, DDR4. We got a Sapphire Radeon RX 590 card for video card. Got the X570 MSI motherboard, gaming model. Got a nice tempered glass side case on there, showing off some of the fancy new RGB lights, fans, and other accoutrement.
Is that who is that light manufacturer? Was that Corsair?
The light manufacturer that I got for the fans was Thermaltake. The case came with a couple of lights built into it.
What was the case?
It was just some off-brand case. It wasn't anything, nothing fancy.
It's awesome that they work together now, man. They used to not do that. They used to, like, if you were going to get a light controller, the pin set would be different for Thermaltake to Corsair. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you fucking couldn't control them all. Now they're fucking nice, and they put them all together and make it fucking nice and compatible. Unlike my fucking Mac, who locks everything fucking down. Dude, I got in this fucking Mac, dude. It's a 27-inch with an IPS fucking Retina display. Beautiful fucking display. Pumping out 5K, right? A 3.2 quad-core i5. I got 18 gigs of RAM in the motherfucker. A 2 terabyte Fusion drive. And Radeon R9 M290 graphics. So R9, which is not... The 590 is a better chipset, they're similar. This one has 2 gigs, whereas that one has 8, right? Is that an 8 one or a 4? Yeah.
8 gig.
Also, this is a very slim card, too. Built more of... I mean, it's a mobile chipset.
It's more like a mobile chipset. Yeah, exactly.
But it's a high-end mobile chipset. I mean, But it's just fucking... It's a stacked machine, and it's frustrating that it's so... you would think that this is what they do. This is what they do. It's so crazy. But anyway, back to the Windows side.
Yeah, no. So on top of what we've already talked about, there's a Corsair 650 watt power supply, 80 plus bronze.
Cool.
I'm trying out the new NVMe storage. That is my first experience with it, and so far it has been phenomenal. For those of you who don't know, NVMe is the new non-volatile memory, kind of like solid state, but only on a PCB board. So it looks more like a stick of memory than an actual, hard drive or solid state drive that you're used to seeing. It installs in the M2 slot on your motherboard, and it is fast.
So
fast.
It's stupid fast. So that's a proprietary bus. The new chipsets really, you need to get like a 970, a Samsung 970 Evo or Pro to really harness it. The 860s were really fast, but the 970 just blows it out of the goddamn water with like something like 3K sequential read and write speeds, which is just stupid considering you're having 500 with a standard traditional SATA 6 fucking hard drive. So it's stupid fast by comparison, but it should be because the M2 slot essentially is just a PCI Express bus.
Yes,
it's running
exactly.
it's running like a PCI Express 8X bus. Like it's really kind of like a 6X bus, but it's stupid fucking fast. And once they get M2 plus drives and M2 like M2.5 or whatever the fuck they're gonna call it, the next iteration of M2, we're gonna have that's when hard drives go away and we just have rows of this shit, and we start stacking motherboards on top of each other, like extra M2 controllers for RAID storage and shit. And it gets really fucking interesting. Those things get hot though. That
That's
flash
right.
memory inside. Did that
Yes.
one have a like a Northbridge style heatsink on it?
Yep. No, it didn't. It didn't have it on it, but it did come with one, so you can add it. So it was great. It's a real beefy heat sink shield that goes over the top. It's got a little bit of adhesive thermal, like pad on it.
Yeah, that's what you need to get for sure. I've had an NVMe for quite a bit since I built this one, and obviously mine's the I got the Threadripper in here and shit. I mean, because I obviously do this stuff. I mean, right now we're on a Discord call that I'm pulling. Let's get nerdy, because fuck it, why not? I'm on a Discord call running XSplit, 2 cameras going plus audio mixed through on a Taxcam 16x8 digital interface, churning all this shit out, and my computer fucking loves it. It doesn't care. Like,
Right.
this thing can handle fucking anything. And NVMe makes it fast as shit on boot up too, because that's what's interesting about laptops and the whole Windows environment in general. You can have mediocre hardware, your average run-of-the-mill shit. The moment you put an SSD in that son of a bitch, it turns into a whole other fucking machine. People
It's
just
a brand new
go
computer.
insane for it. And it's not like it was back in the day with the old TLC fucking controllers. These 3D NANds that they're using inside here, and
Yes.
the really nice MLC logic drives and the controllers that they're using, makes a whole world of fucking difference. And it now you see programs that are being written specifically to take advantage of that flash type of memory that you're getting in here, and the way that read and writes, to where your applications are benefiting tenfold from it now too. And it's not just this it's good on boot up and it doesn't matter anymore. It fucking matters, man. If you don't have an SSD, you just might as the only reason to keep a fucking non-solid state, a mechanical hard drive in your computer, is for fucking deep storage. That's it.
Backup. Yeah.
That's it. That's the
You're gonna
only
file
reason
them
why.
away. You're gonna file them away like you did the old VHS home movie tapes
Right.
back in the day.
Right. I mean, unless you're in my situation where I have a NAS that does way other things, and I don't really file mine away. I just have, it's a RAID
You keep
10.
growing. You keep growing your NAS. It used to be like a 4 terabyte NAS, and then it was an 8 terabyte NAS. Now it's like a 32 terabyte NAS.
16, just 16. But
Oh,
that's
okay.
when I switch over, I'm gonna buy the new Synology 820, the RS 820 Plus.
Oh, yeah. We talked about that one.
I'm gonna bump that one. I'm gonna go to that one because I can do transcoding for everything up to 1080p on that, and that's really good for my media files and shit. My deep cut media files, my DNLA server and shit.
Yes.
So I can transcode the stuff, because the current one I have is the 816, and the RS 816 rack NAS doesn't. So it's a rack mount NAS, and a NAS, if you don't know, let's even take it a step back because we're really talking way deep here. Is
Network attached storage.
Network attached storage, and it essentially connects up Ethernet, and it can be as simple as something that just connects up to your Windows machine and turns kind of an external storage into a on the network NAS, so your other devices can connect to it, or you can have a stupid fucking server that does all kinds of fucking shit, like I do.
It's what the hippies today would call the cloud, but it's your private cloud. It's in your house.
Right. It's the private cloud. So yeah. Anyway, the 820 does transcoding of full video and stuff, and I have mine basically can act like Netflix, so I can stream shit to any one of my TVs or Roku boxes or whatever. It also houses, I can do an email client in it too. It can house a website. It can be a router.
FTP.
FTP, everything. Synology's really nice as far as that goes. I really like their stuff. But man, I lost track of why the tangent was important.
We were going off on storage,
right,
NVMe.
right. Anyway, so wrapping it back around from NAS.
Wrapping it back, pulling it back.
Pulling it back. If you don't have an SSD, you're fucking dead in the water. I mean, you need to. If I would say, my recommendation for anybody right now, if your computer is running slow and you don't have an SSD, buy an SSD. That's the cheapest solution you can do right now.
And find
And
your
you can
local
get
nerd to help you install Windows
right,
and get you some.
right, and you can fucking, but you can get 2 terabyte ones for fucking dirt cheap now, even like way high storage.
For what we used to pay for 128 gigabyte size, like
how much did I fucking pay? How much should I pay for that Intel 128?
Oh, you probably paid over $200 for that thing at the time, because
I want to say it was close for like 400 or something fucking ridiculously stupid like that. I'm pretty sure it was in the 350 to 400 range. It was a 128 gig when all they were doing was like 64 gig and like the 50 gig models, the old Intels where it was 50 and 100 and not 64 128. And this was like one of the first ones, and it was an Intel one because Intel was the best. And if I was going to spend that kind of fucking money, I wanted to fucking get the one I knew was going to give me the performance increase I was after, because I never liked the way computers ran back in the day, because I always wanted to do shit faster than it could compute. And,
it was always a game of hurry up and wait.
Right, and I hated that, and that's why I wanted to get an SSD, because that's what it was supposed to be. And it did. I've never not had an OS drive that isn't an SSD since then. So that says something, I guess.
I remember the first one I had. I think mine was like a 96 gig solid state.
Wasn't it that fucking Muskin?
No, this one was a Crucial.
A Crucial? Crucial white?
No, but it was a black.
It was a black one?
Yep.
I had a Crucial white. I had a Muskin 120. That was a good one.
I remember the first time I loaded Windows on that thing and fired it up, I about shit a brick.
Fast.
It was
stupid
so
fast.
Good.
Well, the install was stupid good too. That was the other thing.
That was really good. You're like, Windows is done copying files already?
Right.
What?
What the fuck? Did something break? But you're doing it flash to flash at that point, basically.
I think it froze.
Right.
I think that's what happened.
That's not right. Well, and Windows has gotten better with, the way it does things. Windows 10's installation is a cake. You just did a fresh one. You can attest. And I've done, over the past 2 months, I've probably done about 10 different Windows installations. So
I'm going to tell you, this is a tri-fold explanation of why this boot up and installation was so fast.
Okay.
First of all, it was done via USB 3.1 flash drive.
Okay.
Second of all, it was using Windows 10 and their amazing, fast installation that is just inherent by its operating system. And 3, this NVMe, this drive. I started a stopwatch from the time that I booted the computer off the flash drive and went through the setup process of Windows 10. And when I was sitting at the desktop and the little circle stopped spinning at the very beginning.
Right.
And it was under 15 minutes. I think it ended up being like 14 minutes, 10 seconds or 11 seconds. It was ridiculous. I've never installed Windows and been to my desktop that fast on any other computer or operating system.
Yeah. Well, that's what's good about it. And especially if you get like not a brand new chipset. If you're talking, even like if we're talking AMD, like the X470 chipsets, the X570 is the new chipset that supports the Ryzen 3s. The X470 chipset is so ingrained in WHQL. WHQL is Windows certified graphics drivers, like certified drivers in general. So there's these X470s are so ingrained, that chipset is so ingrained within Windows itself, that Windows 10 already has every single one of the network drivers. Every driver you need, you just put Windows on the thing. Windows goes out, gets any updates it needs before you get into the Windows screen, and you're done. Like, it's so fucking nice, man.
Ask me how many drivers I needed to install.
None. Probably none.
It was one. There was actually one. And it was not that it didn't work. It still worked. It got a default basic driver for it, and the device still functioned.
Yeah, but you needed to update the chip. You needed to update whatever it was. But I'm meaning like back in the day where our network card wasn't visible, and we had to break out a fucking USB drive on a laptop to go get the fucking drivers we need so we could get internet to the motherfucker. That's what I'm talking about.
Or you
And
mean burn them to a CD?
whatever,
And
yeah,
take it over.
whatever, right? And it's not that way anymore. I mean, it's fucking, even if it doesn't know what the exact driver is, it generally has a default that it'll fucking use that
Yep.
is good. Like it's shit that, and the little things like the timer is way more accurate than it used to be. The fucking the the completion bar for all Windows things, is far more detailed, far better than it used to be. The just everything is better. It's a better OS than what they came out with, and they learned a lot of lessons from Windows 7, Windows 8 specifically.
Windows 8 specifically, yes, exactly.
They learned how to close memory holes, even though I still think there's one in Windows 10. I feel like there is still a memory hole in there. Basically, the memory hole is inherent in the file system, the NTFS file system. And I'm getting way geeky now, and so I'll stop with that because I can see your eyes.
We
blazing
can go way
over
down
as
that.
this. Yeah, I can go way down that one, but I won't.
Yeah. And so we'll discuss the differences between the NTFS file system and the FAT32 system and the other file systems that
GFI
are lesser known.
Anyway, so it just is a better OS, and they put the care into it. It's one of those things where Windows, I think, really, and I'll take Mac in on this. I think Mac helped a lot. The effluence of how Mac has become, like 50% have iPhones now. I mean,
Easy.
a decent
I would
number,
say
even more probably.
I would say 50 to 60.
Right. iPads are a very prevalent thing. It's all the same OS. Now, I'm not saying it's a great OS or anything. It's backed upon Linux, and Linux is great and fine, but it's not easy. And I don't mind learning, I guess, you know what I mean? But it's just not easy and not user-friendly. And you would think that certain things inside of it, especially creative things, it would be built with ease. But, but Mac has made Windows step up their game, I feel like.
Inherently, Mac is easy to use as far as like the Apple iOS system.
100%.
That is easy and convenient and intuitive, and that's why people flock to it, because it is very just simple to pick up and
it's lowest common denominator ease of use. Yeah. And I get you
there. For the masses.
Sure. I can get on and do a FaceTime conversation with my camera that's built into my fucking little screen over here, and fucking everybody can be fine. And I get that I'm not asking what maybe even 5% of users would ask a computer to do. I get that.
Exactly.
I am a unique individual. I'm definitely in the minority there. I get that. I totally get that. But if I do the research, I feel like I should be able to figure out a solution that doesn't involve me writing script or anything fun like that. I don't really want to do that. Like, I don't have that kind of fucking time to fucking troubleshoot script, and it doesn't fucking get my, panties in a bunch, okay? I don't get a halfie from fucking writing out a fucking little scripty poo. Like, I don't do that. That's not...
No, it's annoying and frustrating.
I got more shit to do. I'm trying to do too many fucking things to have to fucking sit down and do that. And I just don't want to. So why is the creative machine the thing that we are always flocking toward for our creative endeavors, whether that be GarageBand, which is, again, a built-in app. It's free. That's fucking amazing. That can pull up every goddamn input for my Tascam interface. I have zillions of fucking built-in beats. I can mix down everything. It's got, it's ridiculous. The thing, it's a goddamn, music writer within. It has every fucking key, every signature, knows everything, and it's built in. Why can't I get a simple pull camera, pull from one screen recording software? You'd think you could do that. You think it'd be a thing. Ultimately, that's what I want. I have one camera and one screen. Because I have two screens for this. It's not like I'm trying to do, split this fucking shit where somebody only has one screen and I want to put 7 things on that one screen and record them all at the same time. I'm not trying to do that. I have 2 screens for all this stuff. So, you would just think there would be something that easy. Just to Done.
It's we're getting there, and you know what? I've experienced the same issue in the same realm of mobile printing. Mobile printing is something that's been around for a while, but hasn't really been done extremely well. In the sense of, like, for my job, I have to use a printer. We have to set it up in the field and print out 30 to 40 page documents on site while I'm at a certain place, and we're using iPads now, and it's funny because the combination of iPad and printer we're using, it works, it functions, and it does the job,
It's
but it
slow as all
doesn't
shit.
it doesn't do it well. It's slow as molasses.
All shit. Now get this, folks. Okay, so this is a great one. So the printer in question is a Canon IP110. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's a fine printer hooked up USB, relatively fast for a micro printer. And this is a micro printer, the size of an 8x10 sheet, basically. It's probably 12 by 10. Right. And it's easy, not fucking big at all, right? Well, no, probably 11 or 12 inches wide by like 4 to 6 inches
6
long.
inches deep.
Yeah, deep. Anyway, it's great when you plug it in USB, but there's two things that I hate about it personally in my experience with it. Is one, in order to connect to this motherfucker, I have to log into the app, change my Wi-Fi settings over to their Wi-Fi, like its Wi-Fi, because it broadcasts the Wi-Fi for you to connect up to it wirelessly, and then print, right? And then it prints slow as shit. It doesn't buffer the whole file over. Like, there's not enough memory inside that Canon via Wi-Fi for it to take
store the whole
exactly
task, whole
right. It doesn't store the job. It relies on that full duplex interface. And I mean, it's basically a derivative of the USB, right? So it's a full duplex interface, a channel forward, a channel backward from the computer to the printer via the USB, and it's trying to do the same thing wirelessly. Well, wireless isn't the same technology, and it would be better served rather than receiving a packet, and then trying to request the next packet. If it would just request everything, push it all to it, and then print the job.
Yeah, if it had enough memory on board to store that job
to do
while
that,
it was
exactly.
running.
And it doesn't, and it's fucking frustrating. Also, if I have an app, I mean, ultimately this app is useless, basically. If I have a fucking app, the app should auto-connect. When I say print, it should auto-take over my iPad, because iPad's so fucking easy to use. It should auto-take over my wireless on my iPad, connect up to its fucking hosted wireless, because it's secured. It's a goddamn independent SSD per IP110 Canon printer. No other IP Canon printer has the same SSID, same wireless network as the one that I'm using. So it's unique across the board. It's unique to my app, unique to my device. Why the fuck doesn't it auto-connect to that Wi-Fi so I don't have to do it, print my goddamn job, and then connect back up to the Wi-Fi I was fucking connected to before? That is the most infuriating fucking piece of shit way to fucking do it I've ever seen in my life.
What's funny is I've done some research into this, and Apple says that, well, no, Canon has to improve their software to meet our operating system specs.
In order for security, for them to let them take over that specific security privacy fucking thing.
And Apple says, no, Canon needs to update their software to keep up with our level of
It's 100%.
iOS
It's 100% Apple. It's 100% Apple's issue where they're not stepping up to the plate and providing the same level of privacy and security regulation that they want per level of iOS. They're not updating that Canon app within enough regularity and keeping up to their standards and practices for security and privacy to where they'll allow you, because that's everything you do in a Mac. You have to give the app specific privileges for all the shit that you want it to have, whether it be your camera, whether it be the audio, whether it be the keyboard, whether it be file storage, anything that you want that app to do, you have to give it permissions for, and the app has to know to request those permissions. You can't do it manually.
Right.
You can't add apps to fucking shit. You can't do anything. And that's my biggest rub.
Furthermore, the iPad has kind of made some exceptions for that using AirPrint. And I don't believe Canon is an AirPrint
It isn't.
certified printer.
It's not an option.
And that's where Apple can get off the hook, because they're like, no, we have that functionality available. You just have to be an AirPrint certified printer.
Yeah, you just have to love us, baby. You just have to get on that Apple T. That's all I want. That's all I want. Do the things that we want you to do, baby. That's all. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, fuck, guys. Something has to give somewhere. And I understand Canon's perspective of not wanting to, and not having the bandwidth as a company to cater to every single one of Apple's updates. And I understand that there's also a range, because certain apps and Apple allows certain compatibility across certain iterations of iOS. I think specifically now, as long as you're up to like 13.5, iOS 13.5, 10.13.5, you can be good. But we're on 10.15 right now.
Is that El Capitan?
No, it's Catalina. Mojave was the one before that. Catalina,
no, I mean the minimum.
13.
The minimum.
Yes. El Capitan. Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to be up to El Capitan, is what they're saying. So that's that flexibility that pseudo flexibility that they're providing in there, without breaking it down to the real problem. And that real problem is the fact that I can't be trusted with your OS and have enough flexibility within your OS to add things that may not be as intelligent as you need them to be, but I trust as the end user. Why the hell don't you give me that privilege? It's my hands are being tied and like babysat, and I'm too stupid. Like, I get that most users in your mind are too stupid to utilize these features. I get that.
And that is the exact core reason why we have not ever switched over to Apple or Mac or anything like
100%.
that as a full time, because
I will never.
They limit you and restrict you, and they make you work in their wheelhouse, and you can use these apps and these things only, and we will update the iOS as needed, and we will obsolete certain things at a certain time frame. End of life comes every 2 years on a phone, it seems now, with iPhones. Maybe 3 at the most.
I think it's 2 years on iPhones, and I think it's 3 years on iPads. And this forced obsolescence is really infuriating. Don't give me that shit that my 2010 fucking MacBook Pro can run your fucking Catalina. Don't give me that shit. I can put Windows 10 on a goddamn fucking thumb drive. I mean, I can put it on anything. I can make a Raspberry Pi fucking work with Windows 10.
Windows XP machines that used to run Windows XP could run Windows 10. It is that
right.
They've made it so convenient with Windows 10 that you can actually run almost like a light version of it on an older machine.
It's extremely flexible. And you don't have that flexibility, and you don't have that trust, and that's really what irritates me. And if you're not going to do that, if you're going to tie my hands, then you best have money software on the back end of that I just can't live without. And I'll give you that. GarageBand for music, for what we like, for creating music like we like to do, there's nothing better. I'll be perfectly frank with you. I mean, I am sure whatever the fuck, what is that, ProLogic? That's not ProLogic.
Pro Tools,
yeah. ProLogic's the one I actually like that does video editing on here on the Mac, and I do enjoy that software too. But Pro Tools is perfectly fine, and I understand its place, and in a higher end environment, in a full studio environment, I'm sure Pro Tools is money. But for my pound for pound, I'll take GarageBand. I can do everything I want in it, and it records really well, and I'll take it every day of the week.
And the great thing about it is it's, from what I remember, it was effortless almost.
Yeah. I mean, it just auto-sees the shit. You put it in, you fucking change your levels, and you can adjust everything independently. It is effortless. It's free, which is amazing. And that's what Mac should be for. If I'm paying this premium for this creativity, I need these things. I need these little built-ins. You know what I mean?
Because here's the inherent problem with Macs. You have a hardware regulation and restriction. You have to use the Apple-approved hardware.
Right.
Which means if you're going to try to build one yourself, or if you're going to buy one off the shelf or modify one that is existing, you have to use their approved and certified hardware.
I mean, obviously, there's ways around some of that shit, and I mean, I could have built a Hackintosh if I wanted to, but
that's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing, and it's harder. It is way harder. There's a lot of, firmware, BIOS. There's spoofing certain firmwares for certain things to like, motherboards and things.
That's the second component of it. It's not just the hardware restriction, it's the actual software firmware restriction as well. If you don't have a certain revision of a certain model, or if you don't have a certain firmware version that was released in this date that is this compatibility, your system doesn't work.
Yeah, firmware restrictions and machine code level, because they don't call it BIOS, but machine level code has hardware identifiers on it that Mac OS calls to make you obsolete. It has absolutely nothing to do with your fucking hardware or the hardware's limitation. It has everything to do with forced obsolescence based upon hardware identifiers within your hardware. And if you want to, I'm not authorizing this, or nor would I advocate for anyone to do this, but there are ways to, after your shit becomes out of max date, you can spoof it to something else. And I'm sure a Google search would take you down any number of illegal rabbit holes to do said thing.
Which we do not condone nor endorse.
I don't do any of those things, but you could. I bought mine legit and am loving every minute of it, as you can clearly tell from this podcast.
Indeed.
But let me get rid of the salt and tell you about the good shit, because it's beautiful. It really is. It's a beautiful fucking machine that is kitted. It's not slow by any stretch of the imagination. It's fast as fuck. I got the 2 terabyte Fusion drive, so it's fast as fuck. The Fusion drive is really cool because it's like 128 gigs of SSD for OS and application level shit, and then 2 terabytes of a regular hard drive, a mechanical hard drive for deep storage and shit. And the OS saves are regulated based upon content. So it kind of auto knows. I don't have to do shit.
It does it for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. That's an awesome feature.
It's fucking dope. The RAM content's great. I mean, the fact that it's beautiful. It is fucking beautiful. I would, honestly, if I could get this to work, I would probably use my Windows machine for video content, because I can pump my Windows machine's audio via the Tascam over to the Mac and kind of combine them all together, so I can get both machines' audio in my ears. So I can do video on the Windows machine and whatever, and then do all of my work on the Mac. And I would love to do that. I mean, the Mac mouse, the fucking Magic Mouse 2, is fucking amazing. It's a single, so it looks like this, okay? It's how little it is, right? This is
thin.
This is 2 buttons, okay? But it's 1 button, but it's 2 buttons. So it knows which side of the mouse you're clicking, okay? For a right click.
It's touch, right?
There's no wheel here, but I can go up and down a web page just by doing this. I can stretch a web page by moving it whichever side I want. So there's gestures involved, right? With this fucking mouse. It's dope as shit. That's a fucking amazing feature. And it's inherent with pretty much every Mac now. Like, the Magic Mouse 2 is, you buy a Mac, you get that, right? Again, the display is visually fucking amazing. It really is. And
for the average user, this would be an absolutely bomb machine.
It would probably last them, man, forever.
It would probably last them 7-8 years at least,
until obsolescence, for sure. And obsolescence is 2012 currently, and this is a 2015 model. So you're looking at least 5 years probably on this model before you get to the point to where you can't update the OS anymore. The iOS level, which means you're stuck at a certain level of iOS. But then they have that buffer period like we were talking about. So El Capitan is currently the buffer, so that's 2 revisions old. So technically you're looking at something that's in the wheelhouse of, I plan on having this thing for probably 7 years and being current, being able to still use apps and shit. which is
Right.
a great thing to have. I'm not discounting the value per se. I'm just merely stating from a creative perspective, I expected maybe more.
Well,
Maybe,
and from an advanced user perspective, you would think that you would be able to, you know, not deal with the everyday idiocracy. No
right.
offense,
And
but
it's I'm not I again I'm well aware of the uniqueness of my circumstance. Like I get that I'm a unique and beautiful flower in this, and that I am one of 2%, probably 2 to 5%, that do the things that I do. But for a machine that's supposed to be creative and has audio unlocked, that's also what I'm trying to say. You've done it with GarageBand. All you need now is to take that level that you've done with GarageBand and allow me to do the same channel level shit with cameras and video inputs that you allow me to do with GarageBand. Just overlay a video component to it. It's as
right,
simple as
right.
that. That's all I fucking really need. That's it.
Have it be like a program expansion pack to where, okay,
Right.
now we bring in the video component to it. We have
Right.
video sources, multiple video source inputs. We have screen shares for all multiple screens. We have
It
whatever you
shouldn't
want.
be that hard.
You want to mix the video digital signals. You can. You can
Right.
have
To where there's
overlay.
creepy overlays and shadowing and shit. I mean, yes, yes, yes. I mean, why? Why? You're a creative machine. This is what you're built for. Why isn't that a thing? Why can't I? And I mean, Wirecast could be, in my experience with it, has not been the greatest. Um, so there are things about it that I am a novice at, and I admit those wholeheartedly. And I could, if we have down the road a retraction to this, I will certainly bring it up in the next Tech Talk. But currently, the frustration is with the limitation.
Well, silver linings on this one. Discord has been a savior for us because we were trying to do this previously through Skype and other Facebook Messenger and other different applications, and it just was not capable of handling what we needed to do.
Virtual
And
cameras
this,
specifically, and Discord has been a savior in that. It really has been a workhorse. Discord is probably one of the easiest, most lightweight softwares I've ever come across. It, for what it does for video and audio transcoding, like it's doing, the ease of use here and how light it is, like the instant connection via calling and things like that, are amazing to me. And
it
Skype is a
is,
clusterfuck.
and it is the same quality that you get from Facebook Messenger, which I'll give Facebook Messenger this for one-on-one calling, video calling. It's the
It was
shit.
surprising. It was good. It was really good. My problem is they stopped supporting virtual cameras. Skype had stopped supporting virtual cameras about 2 years ago, and we found, because we've been doing this. So here's another thing. Like, that's why our first T-shirt is, we were going to do this anyway, so we might as well hit the record button. Uh, we've been doing this for fucking ever, like for 5 years, just bullshitting via
ever since you lived in Florida.
right. And Skype was great for it for a while until they stopped supporting virtual cameras. Then we found Facebook Messenger app did calls, and they supported virtual cameras, and it was great. And then they stopped. And it's these and I get why they stopped, because their server time costs fucking money, and a bunch of people doing video chats costs them money. And to have it a free service and to support virtual cams mean you're supporting advanced users who potentially would be doing it in a way of, streaming on Twitch and things like that, and streaming virtual calls like that in a high number certainly bogs down servers. I'm not discounting that at all. So
Sure.
I get why they would do it. It's just frustrating. And Discord is a savior. And this is what Discord is built for. It's built for streaming. It's built for streamers. So I
Yes.
feel like they're not ever going to get rid of it. Like, this is their wheelhouse. And I cannot pimp Discord enough. If you don't have Discord, get it. Put in the comments if you guys want a Conversations with Cabys Discord channel. Because I had one. I think I actually do have one, honestly. Yeah, there is one. So we can, pimp that maybe in the description if you guys want to join it.
Yeah, we'd love to have a chat with you.
Yeah, we can talk to you guys live. It'll be great if you like this stuff. And as always, if you guys like this, like and subscribe the video. You got anything else, D?
Other than that, no. I mean, we had a great couple of weeks dealing with new builds, new computers, and it's been fun. I learned a lot with this last build. Just to kind of wrap up the whole thing, it was a great build. It was probably my best one to date, and I'm probably pushing 40 plus PCs over my years built.
Yeah, I'd imagine somewhere in
Um,
that ballpark.
and that's not just my own
But it's
personal.
been a
That's
minute
for
since you done one. The last one
well,
was an AM3
it
socket, right?
it was an AM3 socket, so this was whole new architecture, a whole new platform for me, and it was nice. I liked it. The case I worked with had great cable management. The RGB thing is cool. It's a really neat feature. It's big, big popular right now.
It is huge popular, but that's been a new trend in cases is cable management, and a standard feature being cable management. Also, bottom placed power supplies,
Yep.
lower placed power supplies rather than your upper placed power supply. The benefit of that, obviously, is you don't have this giant weight on sitting on your motherboard all the time, potential for screws to break, things like that, and really hurt your motherboard CPU cooler, things like that. It's nice for cable runs as well to have a bottom placed power supply. But yeah, it's a standard feature now in a lot of cases, and it's awesome. It really is. We're in a new kind of age where the shit we used to like love is becoming commonplace within the home PC DIY sector. It's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's the things that we appreciate and wanted in our some of our previous builds. It would have been nice if this would have been there. Or it would make more sense if this went there. Or, that kind of stuff. And this was the same way. Bottom power supply mounting, and it actually has a thick steel enclosure for it, so it is fully separated and segregated from the entire rest of the case.
Yeah, that's
And
good. Yeah, I have a Cosmos 2 case, and my Cosmos 2 case is like that.
it's also most cases now I'm seeing are also coming with built-in mountings for radiators to do water cooling.
I've been noticing that myself. Yeah, for sure.
So that's awesome as well. This one came with that. Had a nice fan filter, little magnetic fan filter mesh screen at the top for your fans.
Yeah, those are
Um,
nice, are they not? I mean, and the fact that they're magnetic is really cool. I dig that a lot.
it looks so seamless, but then you just kind of get the corner and pull it out, and you're like, oh, look at that.
Well, yeah, and you need to clean those. I mean, you need to clean that.
You have to, yeah, and that's the number one people. If you are an average to novice computer user,
Every
best
six
tip I
months.
the
Every
best
six
tip
months.
I can give you is blow out your fans. Use a can of compressed air. Use an air compressor. Use of something to clean out your computers, your fans, and keep them clean. Overheating is the number one reason for failure in PCs, and the reason why they overheat is because they don't get airflow because they're all dirty and clogged up with dust and shit.
Let me take this
Clean.
a step further. Yeah, let me take this a step further. The CPU. Okay, so here are our top three things: our CPU overheating, from our CPU cooler getting too clogged up with dust from pet dander. If you have cats, dogs, this is a have to do every 3 to 6 months. Your CPU going out, your memory failing from being too hot, from doing too much clockwork and not having enough ventilation to cool it,
Yep.
and your graphics card. If you have an
Overheating.
independent graphics card, your graphics card dropping ass. Your motherboard can generally support the heat from failed ventilation, but it can also go out. That would probably be number four for me. Southbridge first, then Northbridge first, then Southbridge would be the order of ops for the top five. But it's you gotta below this. The back of your case fan, the back of your fan has back of your case has a fan, and you blow that out with a can of compressed air. The front of your case should have about 1 to 2 fans at the bottom. Blow those out, and then if you have a side fan, blow that out. And then lastly, with the computer off, while you're doing all of this, make sure you blow out that power supply. That's going to be the thing
and
with the on-off switch in the back.
and your CPU cooler, it will involve taking the side door off of your
Yeah,
case.
everything I suggest is without taking the side door off. If you are not comfortable taking the side door off, do not take the side
Do
door
not
off,
do that. Nope.
because there could be things in there that it depends on where you bought your computer from. If you take that side door off, things could change. You could unplug something by accident and not know where to plug it back in. So if you
You
do
can
not feel comfortable taking it off, do not take it off. But in order to get it completely clean and get those dust particles and dust mites out of there, you do need to take the side panel off.
Yep.
But
Yep.
if you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. And ultimately, but clean it still, because it will affect. It will help. Cleaning these things out without taking that side case off will the side door off will help immensely, and it's important. Very
Also,
important.
another little pro tip here. Sometimes depending on how long it's been since you've done this, or if you've never done this, it's best to maybe even take the case, just unplug it all, take the whole tower outside or in your garage or somewhere out where it's not going to make a mess, and just blow it out there, because you will be amazed at how much comes out of there.
For sure, for sure. I mean, blowing from front to back, if you have it all unplugged and in a well open area like your garage or something like that, you'll be amazed at what comes out the back of that thing. And then blow out the front, and then blow the front, then do the back, then do the front, then do the back. Do that twice over with everything unplugged, and you'll be amazed. Just what you can do if you're not comfortable unplugging all of your bits because you don't know, get a label maker and just number them from top to bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever color port they go into. There are many ways of identifying what goes where, and a lot of the plugs have different.
Only one place to go in.
Yeah, I mean it's a different end, so you wouldn't have any problems. So those are some pro tips from us.
Yeah, that was a bonus segment. We didn't know we were going to do that.
Pro tips bonus.
Right.
But anyways, I think we're gonna end it there. If you like this, go ahead and give us a like, give us a subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. If you don't feel like doing that, don't do it. Just glad you guys are here. If you did,
leave us a comment below.
Yeah, most definitely. We love those comments. We try to reply to everybody on them. If you dig it, keep watching, because this Friday Free for All is going to be a funny one, the blooper one, and then we got a good one planned for this Sunday's music podcast. So, yeah, keep listening, keep watching. Don't forget to love each other, and everybody have a good one.
Yep. You guys stay tuned. We got some exciting stuff coming up. Peace out.
Be safe.